Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. So, after yet another mini hiatus, I return to talk about what could possibly be the biggest movie to come out since Wonder Woman 1984. And that movie, of course, is Tom and Jerry, or Tom and Jerry the movie. I'm just going to call it Tom and Jerry for simplicity's sake. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. Oh, God. So as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons for Tom and Jerry. So let's get to it. Pros. By far and away, the biggest pro for this movie is that there has not been a single big, relatively speaking, family movie in theaters since November. And the last one that come out was The Croods: A New Age. And that movie, has done quite well for itself considering the circumstances uh, it's currently in. Of all the pandemic movies, I think in terms of performance, it's the second best. It could be the first. It could beat Tenet potentially if it can survive Tom and Jerry and Raya and the Last Dragon next weekend. But yeah, Crude's a New Age. Its performance has it proves that families are willing to go out to theaters if there's something interesting out there. And that was the big worry for a while was that will families show up because I don't know, like that seems kind of dangerous and a bit reckless in a way, but the Crude's New Age proves that families are willing to show up, mainly to get their kids out the house, but they're still willing to show up to see a family movie. And a lot of those parents are probably just sick to death of the Croods too, and they want to watch something different. And so here you go. You don't have to watch a prehistoric family anymore. You can watch a cat and a mouse fight each other throughout a whole movie. So there you go. You have something different. So yeah, that's definitely the biggest pro for this movie is the fact that there's been a drought of family movies in recent times. So yeah, pro number one. Pro number two. This movie has brand name recognition. I mean, Tom and Jerry has been a thing since 1940, last I checked. So it's been 80 years. It's a very, very long time. And most people know what Tom and Jerry is. It's basically a cat and a mouse fighting each other with slapstick, quite violent slapstick, but slapstick nonetheless. And it's worked for 80 years, so why wouldn't it work in 2021? So, yeah. Pro number two is obvious brand name recognition. Pro number three, it's the only movie coming out this weekend. It has no real competition at this point in time for this weekend only. Because next weekend it faces a problem in Raya and the Last Dragon. But for right now, it's all by itself. So it has one weekend to thrive before things inevitably go downhill. But still, it has no competition this weekend. It's the only movie coming out. So obvious pro right there. Uh I don't know about other pros. I've I don't know what the reviews are for this. I could check. I think last I checked it had like a 6.5 on IMDb. But let me uh what are the reviews saying? Yeah, it's not great. I expected that. It's at like a 37%, which seems pretty normal for a movie like this, considering this is one of those live action CGI hybrid cartoon movies like your Alvin and the Chipmunks, your Yogi Bears, your Smurfs, your Garfields, bringing back a lot of bad memories. All those movies were terrible. But this seems to be slightly, ever so slightly, better than all of those. So, yay, I guess. But still, when it comes to a movie like this, reviews really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. So, yet. Who cares? It's not even like a pro or a con, really. Uh, okay, I think that's it with pros. Cons, COVID, lack of audience, audience restrictions. A lot of theaters are shut down because normally a movie like this would be in a ton of theaters. I mean, look at Sonic last year. That was in over like 4,000 theaters. Like 4,000 theaters is usually the norm for a movie like this. But that's not going to happen because only like half, like 45% are open right now, which obviously is going to cripple its potential box office. So, yeah, that's definitely a con against the movie. So that's con number one, COVID and dealing with all that. Con number two, what's coming out next weekend? Raya and the Last Dragon, which will both be in theaters and on Disney Plus Premium Access. Now, when you have two family movies, or really two movies of any genre, of the same genre, colliding against each other, what usually happens is a thing called cannibalization in movie terms. What that means is that both movies of the same genre collide, they eat into each other's audience, and as a result, neither makes as much as they should. So that could totally happen. Tom and Jerry could have a good weekend, this weekend, and the next weekend it gets crushed by Raya, potentially. So that could totally happen. So it really only has 1 week to thrive before everything goes down. But after Raya comes out, it'll be free for like, I don't know, the next few months until Cruella, I think. If you want to count that as a family movie, which judging by the trailer, I don't. I don't count that as a family movie. So, yeah, after Raya, it'll probably have a nice run, but yeah, Raya will be a serious roadblock next weekend. So yeah, that's definitely a con. I guess another con. Well, I already mentioned how this is basically similar to like Alvin the Chipmunks, Yogi Bear, Smurfs, Garfield, all those really bad live action CGI hybrids. All I have to say is thank God they did not go the realism route with this, with these characters. They made them animated. If they made a realistic Tom and Jerry, good God, that would be horrifying. So, they made the smart choice by keeping them animated. But I think making them CGI just looks kind of weird. I don't think it works all that great. I mean, they could have just gone the Space Jam route and just made them like, like a mix between 2D and 3D. That's what I would have done. But yeah, this 3D route, not a fan. Not a fan. I think it looks kind of cheap. I mean, the movie only cost $50 million, so it's obviously cheap. But yeah, and I've heard the plot is less about. It's one of those movies where the plot is less about the characters, and we have all these human side characters in there, because obviously you can't fill 90 minutes with just Tom and Jerry trying to kill each other. That wouldn't be very investing. So, yeah, I think it has that stigma of being one of those live action CGI cartoon movies. That could hurt it. At least when it comes to older people. Kids, they don't care. You give them anything as long as it has a funny animal on it, they will eat it up. That's what happened with me. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened to all of you too. So, yeah. And then obviously the last con, HBO Max, that whole thing is a part of the experiment, which is, it's in theaters and HBO Max for 30, well, it's on HBO Max for 30 days while it's in theaters. After those 30 days, it's still in theaters. Judging by the performances of Wonder Woman, Little Things, Judas and Black Messiah, it doesn't seem like it's affecting things too badly. So I think it'll probably be okay. It'll make a bit of a dent, but I don't think it'll just get crushed because of HBO Max. But I feel like this is one of those movies where a lot of people would rather just stay home and watch it than pay money to see it on the big screen. So yeah, uh, yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So opening weekend, how much will this make? Uh, Judging by how The Croods: A New Age has performed, this should do better than a majority of pandemic movies. Probably nearly all of them. Uh, I think 5 million is too low. If I had to make a range, it will be between 6 million and 9 million. So between $6 and $9 million, I think is realistic for Tom and Jerry, the movie. Uh, for its overall run, it seems that these HBO Max movies tend to be quite front loaded, judging by what happened with the past three that have come out. But I think this one might have longer legs because family movies tend to have longer legs, historically speaking. I'm guessing 30 million, 20 to 30 million, I think is ideal. And then that'll be it. So, yeah. That's Tom and Jerry, the movie the world needs right now. And that's it for February. Yeah, I know it was short. What do you want me to do about it? This is not, none of this is my fault. It's not my fault the schedule was shot. So yeah, that's it for February. And now next week, March. For the first time in what feels like a long time, I actually have movies to talk about one week after the other. We have three to talk about, which is like the most since Christmas. We have Boogie, we have Chaos Walking, and then the big one, the one everyone's going to look at, Raya and the Last Dragon. So that should be an interesting weekend. And then after that, just a whole lot of nothing for like 2 weeks. And then things will come back with like March 26th has Nobody, Godzilla vs. Kong. That's the 31st of March. So yeah, that 2 week gap, I will use that gap to talk about summer movies that are still on the schedule as we speak. So yeah. That's it. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. You want to check out more videos like this? I got a playlist on the homepage. I have 3 prediction video playlists. Well, actually, multiple ones for 2019, but I have my 2019 predictions, 2020 predictions, and now I have my 2021 predictions. It's not a long list. It should be longer than last year, I'm betting. So, you want to check out any of those, go right ahead. I also got the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't for obvious reasons. I just did one about how Quiet Place 2, Mission Impossible 7, Paw Patrol the movie are now going to go to Paramount Plus after 45 days in theaters. So if you want to check that out, go right ahead. And all previous canceled episodes, you can check those out. Box office recaps, go over the box office results for any particular month. Recently I've been doing double recaps, double 2 months. So for February and March, that will come out early. April, and then April, May will be in June. So that's a long time from now. But if you want to look at any of my past recaps, go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Bye.